Hello, my dear friends, and a very warm welcome back to Elderflowerings. It is always a profound honor to gather with you in this space, a community where we explore the rich, evolving journey of our later years, not as an epilogue, but as a vibrant, ongoing story filled with potential for joy, wisdom, and profound well-being. Have you ever looked at the elders in your life, or perhaps reflected on your own journey and wondered about the subtle currents that guide our happiness and health? Why is it that some individuals, despite facing the natural challenges of aging, seem to radiate a deep sense of contentment and vitality, while others, sometimes with seemingly similar circumstances, find themselves feeling diminished, isolated, or unhappy? The answer, I believe, often lies not in one single dramatic event, but in a series of quiet, almost imperceptible drifts. Small mistakes in our approach to daily living that can, over time, accumulate and significantly erode our happiness and our health. These aren't mistakes born from a lack of character, but rather from a lack of awareness, from ingrained habits, or from mistakenly believing that decline is simply an inevitable passive process we must endure. But what if it isn't? What if we could illuminate these common pitfalls, understand them with compassion, and most importantly, learn how to consciously choose a different, more nourishing path? That is our heartfelt intention today. We are going to delve into 5 huge yet common mistakes that people often make in their later years, mistakes that can quietly, insidiously destroy the very happiness and health we all cherish. Our goal is not to judge or to create fear, but to empower you with foresight, to offer the kind of wisdom that can only come from observing and listening to the experiences of many who have walked this path. Think of this conversation as a loving guide, a roadmap to help you navigate around these common hurdles. We will explore the critical importance of physical activity, the dangers of social isolation, the necessity of nurturing our mental sharpness, the profound impact of releasing past regrets, and the vital strength found in adapting to our ever-changing world. By understanding these areas, you gain the power to make proactive, life-affirming choices that can lead to a richer, healthier, and more joyfully lived future. So I warmly invite you to settle in, to open your heart and mind, and to join me on this deeply important exploration. And before we begin, if you believe in the power of conscious, positive aging and find value in these in-depth discussions, please take a moment to like this video. If you're new here, we would be so honored if you would subscribe to Elderflowerings and tap that notification bell. Your presence in our community is a gift. Now, let us begin our journey. 5 huge mistakes people make in old age that destroy their happiness and health. Mistake number 1: surrendering to stillness, the quiet neglect of physical activity. The first and perhaps most physically consequential mistake many of us can make as we age is a slow, almost unconscious surrender to stillness. It often begins subtly. Perhaps an ache in the knee makes that daily walk seem less appealing. Maybe a fear of falling after one unsteady moment makes us hesitant to move about as freely as we once did. Or perhaps it's just a general feeling of fatigue that makes the comfortable armchair seem far more inviting than the great outdoors. We might tell ourselves, "I've earned the right to slow down," or "I'm just listening to my body." While rest is indeed important, this gentle slide from being active to becoming sedentary is one of the most dangerous traps in later life. Neglecting consistent physical activity is a mistake that accelerates nearly every aspect of age-related decline. The deep consequences. When we stop moving regularly, our bodies begin a process of deconditioning with surprising speed. Muscle loss, sarcopenia. The muscles in our legs, core, and arms, if not consistently used, begin to weaken and shrink. This isn't just about losing strength, it's about losing the very foundation of our independence, the ability to stand up from a chair, to climb stairs, to carry our own groceries. Increased fall risk. Weaker muscles, especially in the legs and core, combined with stiffer joints from disuse, lead to poorer balance and a dramatically increased risk of falls. A fall for an older adult can be a life-altering event, often leading to fractures, hospitalization, and a significant loss of confidence and mobility. Cardiovascular and metabolic health. An inactive lifestyle contributes to poor circulation, higher blood pressure, and an increased risk of heart disease and type 2 diabetes. Mental and emotional health. Movement is not just for the body, it's for the mind. Physical activity releases endorphins, reduces stress hormones, improves sleep, and has been shown to be as effective as some medications for treating mild to moderate depression. When we become still, our mood can often stagnate as well. Let's consider Robert, a retired postal worker of 75. He had spent his life on his feet, walking miles every day. In his first few years of retirement, he enjoyed his active hobbies. But after a bout of bad sciatica left him in pain for a few weeks, he became fearful of re-injury. He stopped his long walks, gave up his gardening, and spent more and more time reading in his chair. Within a year, he was shocked to find he would get winded just walking to the mailbox. His legs felt weak, and he felt a general sense of malaise and low mood he couldn't shake. His short-term, understandable caution had morphed into a long-term, detrimental lifestyle of inactivity. The empowering alternative. The key to avoiding this mistake is to reframe exercise and embrace joyful, consistent movement. 1. Find movement you love. This isn't about forcing yourself into a gym if you hate it. It's about finding activities that bring you pleasure. This could be dancing in your living room to your favorite music, gentle gardening, swimming or water aerobics, joining a walking group, or practicing Tai Chi or yoga. When movement is joyful, it becomes a sustainable habit. 2. Focus on consistency over intensity. A gentle 20-30-minute walk every day is far more beneficial than one grueling hour-long workout once a week that leaves you sore and discouraged. Consistency is what signals to your body that it needs to stay strong and capable. 3. Embrace movement snacks. As we've discussed before on Elderflowerings, breaking up long periods of sitting is crucial. Get up and stretch during TV commercials. March in place while you wait for the kettle to boil. Do gentle chair exercises. These small snacks of movement throughout the day keep your muscles engaged and your circulation flowing. Robert, with the encouragement of a physical therapist, started again very slowly. He began with just 5 minutes of gentle stretching and a walk to the end of his driveway. It was a humbling start, but he did it every day. Gradually, he rebuilt his confidence and his strength. He learned that his body hadn't betrayed him. He had simply stopped giving it the movement it craved. The mistake is not in needing to slow down. The mistake is in stopping altogether. Mistake number 2. The slow drift into social isolation. The second huge mistake, and one that can be devastating to both emotional and physical health, is allowing ourselves to slowly drift into social isolation. This rarely happens by conscious choice. It's a gradual process, often born from life's natural transitions. A beloved spouse passes away, leaving a profound silence in the home. Dear friends move away to be closer to their own children or face their own health challenges. Our own children and grandchildren, as much as they love us, become increasingly engrossed in their own demanding lives. The phone calls become a little less frequent, the invitations a little fewer. Without proactive effort on our part, our social world can begin to shrink until one day we might realize that days or even weeks have passed without a single meaningful conversation with another person. We might tell ourselves we enjoy the peace and quiet, that we don't want to be a burden on others. But humans are, at our core, deeply social beings. Prolonged, unwanted solitude is not peaceful. It is a state of chronic emotional malnourishment. The deep consequences. The impact of loneliness and social isolation on senior health is profound and well documented by science. Mental and emotional health. Loneliness is a primary risk factor for depression and anxiety in older adults. It can lead to feelings of worthlessness, hopelessness, and a profound sense of being forgotten. Cognitive decline. A lack of social engagement means less mental stimulation. Numerous studies have shown a strong link between social isolation and a more rapid cognitive decline, and even an increased risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. Weakened immune system. Believe it or not, chronic loneliness can act as a chronic stressor, leading to increased inflammation and a suppressed immune system, making you more vulnerable to illness. Physical health. Social isolation is also linked to higher blood pressure, an increased risk of heart disease, and even higher mortality rates overall. Let's think of a woman we'll call Helen. After her husband died and her best friend moved to another state, Helen, a naturally introverted person, found herself falling into a pattern of isolation. She stopped going to her book club, telling herself she wasn't in the mood. She'd let calls from her children go to voicemail, not wanting to interrupt their busy days. She believed she was being independent and not imposing, but in reality, she was building invisible walls around her heart. She began to feel a deep, pervasive sadness and found her memory wasn't as sharp as it once was. The empowering alternative. The solution is to view social connection not as a casual pastime, but as an essential health practice, just like eating well or moving your body. 1. Be proactive, not passive. Don't wait for the phone to ring. Be the one to pick it up. Schedule regular calls or video chats with family and friends. Send a text, an email, or even a handwritten card. Let people know you are thinking of them. 2. Rekindle old hobbies in new ways. If you love reading, join a book club at your local library. If you enjoy gardening, see if there's a community garden you can participate in. A shared interest is one of the easiest and most enjoyable ways to form new connections. 3. Embrace weak ties. Nurture the casual relationships in your daily life. The friendly barista, your mail carrier, the librarian, your neighbors. A simple hello and a brief pleasant chat can do wonders for alleviating feelings of isolation and reminding you that you are part of a wider community. 4. Consider volunteering. Sharing your time and lifelong skills with a cause you care about is one of the most powerful ways to find both purpose and a new social network simultaneously. Helen, with a nudge from her concerned daughter, decided to take one small step. She rejoined her book club. It was difficult at first, but the shared love of stories and the gentle companionship slowly began to melt the ice around her heart. That one small act reminded her of the joy of connection and motivated her to reach out in other ways. The mistake isn't in experiencing life changes that reduce our social circle. The mistake is in not actively, intentionally working to rebuild and nurture it. Mistake number 3. Believing your mind is meant to wind down. Our third common mistake is a subtle but powerful one, rooted in outdated ideas about aging. It's the mistake of believing that our minds, like old machines, are simply meant to wind down, to stop learning, to cease being challenged, and to retreat into the comfort of the familiar. Many seniors, upon retiring, might fall into a routine of passive entertainment, perhaps watching television for many hours a day, and stop actively seeking out new knowledge or skills. They might think, "I've worked hard my whole life. My brain deserves a rest." While rest is important, a brain that is not actively engaged and challenged can, unfortunately, begin to decline more rapidly. The old adage, "use it or lose it," is profoundly true when it comes to our cognitive faculties. The deep consequences. A passive mental life can lead to accelerated cognitive decline. A lack of mental stimulation can weaken neural pathways and reduce what scientists call cognitive reserve, the brain's ability to withstand age-related changes without showing significant functional loss. Apathy and loss of interest. When we stop learning and being curious, our world can begin to feel smaller, less interesting, and more monotonous. This can lead to a state of apathy that often coexists with low mood or depression. Reduced adaptability. A mind that is not accustomed to learning new things can find it harder to adapt to the inevitable changes that life brings, whether it's learning to use a new appliance or understanding a new medical diagnosis. Let's imagine a retired accountant, someone who spent his career engaged in complex problem solving. In retirement, if he only engages in passive activities, he might notice over a few years that his mental sharpness, his ability to quickly process information, feels dulled. He might attribute this entirely to age, not realizing that it's also a result of a lack of mental exercise. The empowering alternative. The key is to embrace the concept of lifelong learning and maintain a spirit of curiosity. Modern neuroscience has shown us the incredible power of neuroplasticity, our brain's lifelong ability to form new connections and adapt. 1. Be a perpetual student. You don't have to enroll in a formal university, although many offer wonderful courses for seniors. You can learn a new language with a free app, watch fascinating documentaries on history or science, take an online course in a subject you've always been curious about, or simply make it a habit to read nonfiction books that challenge your thinking. 2. Engage in challenging hobbies. Move beyond passive pastimes. Activities that require strategy, problem-solving, and focus are fantastic for brain health. This includes playing chess or bridge, doing complex jigsaw or crossword puzzles, learning a musical instrument, or engaging in detailed crafts like woodworking or quilting. 3. Stay curious about the world. Engage with younger generations about their interests. Ask questions. Try to understand new technologies, even if you don't master them. A curious mind is an active mind. The mistake isn't retiring from work, it's retiring from learning and engagement. By keeping your brain active, challenged, and curious, you are actively participating in the preservation of your most precious asset, your sharp, vibrant mind. Mistake number 4, living in the rearview mirror, the heavy burden of regret. The fourth mistake is an emotional one, but its impact on both happiness and physical health can be immense. It's the mistake of becoming stuck in the past, of allowing regrets, old grievances, and what-if scenarios to dominate your present-day thoughts and feelings. As we live longer lives, it's natural to have a rich tapestry of memories, and inevitably, some of those threads will be tinged with regret for decisions made, words left unsaid, or paths not taken. However, when we allow ourselves to live primarily in this rearview mirror, constantly replaying past hurts or mistakes, we are, in effect, carrying an incredibly heavy emotional burden every single day. This isn't just a fleeting sadness. It can become a chronic state of being that poisons our present moment. The deep consequences. Holding on to regrets and grudges can destroy our well-being. Chronic stress and its physical toll. Constantly dwelling on negative past events keeps your body in a low-grade state of stress with elevated levels of cortisol. This chronic stress, as we know, can contribute to high blood pressure, weakened immunity, poor sleep, and digestive issues. The emotional burden manifests as a real physical strain. Depression and anxiety. A mindset focused on past losses and mistakes is a fertile ground for depression and anxiety. It prevents us from seeing the good that exists in the present and from feeling hopeful about the future. Strained relationships. Bitterness or a pervasive sense of sadness can be draining for those around us. It can make it difficult for loved ones to connect with the person we are today, as we seem perpetually trapped in the pains of yesterday. Inability to experience present joy. You simply cannot fully appreciate the warmth of the sun on your face today if your mind is consumed by the storm that happened 20 years ago. Regret robs us of the only time we ever truly have, the present moment. Let's think of a woman whose primary life regret is not having pursued a particular career. If she spends her days ruminating on this what if, she may feel a constant sense of bitterness that prevents her from seeing the new opportunities for learning or contribution that are right in front of her now. She misses the joy of the present because she is mourning a past that cannot be changed. The empowering alternative. The path forward lies in the gentle but powerful practices of mindfulness, reframing, and forgiveness. 1. Practice mindfulness to anchor in the present. Mindfulness is the simple act of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. This can be done through formal meditation or simply by focusing on your senses during daily activities, truly tasting your morning tea, feeling the texture of your favorite blanket, listening to the birds outside your window. This practice gently trains your brain to stay in the now. 2. Reframe the past as lessons learned. Instead of viewing past mistakes as failures, try to reframe them as life lessons. Ask yourself, what did that difficult experience teach me? How did it make me stronger or wiser? Every part of your story has contributed to the person you are today. Honoring the lessons rather than just the pain can be incredibly healing. 3. Embrace forgiveness, especially of yourself. Forgiveness is not about condoning a past hurt or saying it was okay. It is about choosing to release the heavy burden of anger and resentment, not for the other person's sake, but for your own peace. And often, the most important person we need to forgive is ourselves for choices we now wish we had made differently. This act of self-compassion can be profoundly liberating. 4. Cultivate active gratitude. As we discussed earlier, actively looking for things to be grateful for in your current life is a powerful antidote to regret. The mistake isn't having regrets. That's part of being human. The mistake is allowing those regrets to become the permanent residents of your mind, stealing the joy and peace of today. Letting go of the past is perhaps one of life's greatest challenges. Have you found a particular practice, like forgiveness or gratitude, that has helped you find more peace in the present moment? Your wisdom on this would be a true gift to our community. Mistake number 5. Resisting the unstoppable tides of change. Our final huge mistake is one that can lead to immense frustration, disconnection, and a growing sense of alienation from the world. Rigidly resisting the inevitable tides of change. The world is and always has been in a constant state of flux, but the pace of change in recent decades, particularly in technology, communication, and societal norms, has been breathtaking. For those of us who grew up in a different era, it can be incredibly tempting to dig in our heels, to lament that things aren't what they used to be, and to refuse to engage with the new. This resistance often comes from a place of comfort with the familiar, or perhaps a feeling of being overwhelmed by having to learn new things. But when this resistance becomes a default way of being, it can have deeply isolating consequences. The deep consequences. Disconnection from younger generations. When we dismiss modern ways of communicating, like texting or video calls, modern entertainment, or the challenges and perspectives of younger generations, we inadvertently build a wall between ourselves and our children and grandchildren. We risk becoming relics in their eyes rather than relevant, engaged family members. Increased frustration and alienation. Fighting against the way the world works today is an exhausting and ultimately losing battle. It can lead to a constant state of frustration, a feeling of being left behind, and a sense that the world no longer makes sense or has a place for you. Practical life challenges. In today's world, many essential daily tasks, from banking and paying bills to making medical appointments or accessing information, are increasingly moving online. A steadfast refusal to adapt can lead to a very real loss of independence and control over one's own affairs. Let's imagine a grandfather who steadfastly refuses to learn how to use the simple video call app his family uses to connect with relatives across the country. He insists that a phone call is good enough. As a result, he misses out on seeing his great-grandchild's face light up on their birthday, on visually sharing in a family celebration, on feeling that richer sense of presence that video can bring. His resistance, intended to preserve his old way of doing things, ends up costing him precious moments of connection. The empowering alternative. The key here is not to become a tech wizard or to love every modern trend, but to cultivate a mindset of curiosity and selective adaptation. 1. Choose curiosity over criticism. When confronted with something new you don't understand, try to replace the immediate reaction of, "That's silly," or "I don't like that," with the gentle question, "Help me understand this." This approach invites connection rather than creating conflict. 2. Let younger people be your teachers. Allow your children or grandchildren the joy and pride of teaching you a new skill, whether it's how to use a food delivery app or how to find your favorite old music on a streaming service. This role reversal can be a wonderful bonding experience. 3. Focus on the benefit, not the task. Don't focus on the perceived chore of learning technology. Focus on what it can give you. Seeing your grandchild's face, easily ordering groceries, accessing a world of information from your armchair. The why provides the motivation. 4. Understand that adaptation is strength. Throughout history, the ability to adapt to changing circumstances has been a hallmark of resilience and wisdom. Embracing gentle adaptation in your later years is not a sign of giving in. It's a powerful sign of a flexible, engaged, and thriving mind. The mistake is not in cherishing the past. The mistake is in allowing a rigid attachment to the past to prevent you from fully participating in the present. By staying open, curious, and willing to adapt, you remain a vital, relevant, and connected participant in the beautiful, ever-changing world. Your path forward. Choosing a life of vitality and joy. As we conclude our heartfelt discussion today, I want you to hold this thought. These 5 mistakes we've explored, surrendering to stillness, drifting into isolation, letting the mind go idle, living in the shadow of regret, and resisting the flow of change, are not character flaws. They are common, deeply human tendencies, pathways of least resistance that any one of us can find ourselves on if we are not mindful and intentional. But the beautiful, empowering truth is that you are the conscious architect of your later years. Happiness and health are not passive states that simply happen to you. They are, to a remarkable degree, the cumulative result of the active, loving, and wise choices you make for yourself day after day. The purpose of our conversation today was not to create a list of things to feel guilty about, but to illuminate these common hurdles so that you can navigate around them with awareness and grace. It's about recognizing that you have agency, you have choice, you have the power to profoundly influence the quality of your own life. It's about understanding that a life of vitality is built on a foundation of consistent movement, meaningful connection, and engaged and curious mind, a heart at peace with the past, and a spirit open to the present. So I invite you to take a gentle, compassionate look at your own life. Is there one area, just one of these 5, that resonated with you today? Is there one small, gentle shift you feel inspired to make? Perhaps it's committing to a short daily walk, scheduling a weekly call with a friend you miss, picking up a book on a new topic, practicing a moment of gratitude to counter a regret, or asking a grandchild to show you something new on their phone. Please don't feel overwhelmed by the need to change everything at once. Profound transformation always begins with a single, courageous step. Choose your one step. Take it today, and know that in doing so, You are making a powerful, loving investment in your own happiness and your own health. Thank you so very much for spending this precious time with me here at Elderflowerings. Your willingness to reflect and grow is truly inspiring. I would be so honored if you would share in the comments below. What is one insight from our discussion that you will carry with you, or one small positive action you feel inspired to take? Your intentions and your wisdom are a gift to us all. If you found this video valuable, please show your support by liking it, subscribing to Elderflowerings for more empowering conversations, and sharing it with anyone in your life who you feel might benefit from this message of hope and proactive aging. Your support helps our community flourish. Until we meet again, may you walk your path with wisdom and joy. May your heart be light, and may you always, always continue to bloom.